right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Misty and murky, low clouds, drizzle, showers and fog, but at least it's not freezing. When this moves out and the weather impacts Saturday with our next weather system.
Tonight, shocking police body cam footage showing a man that was left to die.
It's for us to get them the necessary treatment to try to save them, not turn our backs on them.
2 officers now stripped of their badges, the conversations calling for change. Tonight, 2 runaway teens found at a St. Louis apartment building cracking a case of child sex trafficking. We start tonight at 10 with the impact of rain and fog on the bi-state. Right now, you can't see the arch from our roof cam on Market Street. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. It's been raining all day. Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here to tell us when the rain and fog will finally clear out.
I'm not saying it'll be a bright morning tomorrow morning, Mike, but we will see the rain and the drizzle and the fog. That's all going to press out of here as we go through the overnight hours. Right now, the few rain showers that are out there are to the southeast of St. Louis, and they continue to zip along, so they don't last very long. You're adding just a couple more hundredths into the rain gauge, but if you were under one of these heavier ones briefly earlier today, odds are you ended up with a quarter to a half an inch of rain. Early today, temperatures were below freezing just north of St. Louis. Those temperatures have warmed above freezing, and any freezing drizzle and freezing rain went away. Really, it was just the wet roads we're dealing with, and we're actually at our high temperature for the day now at 41 degrees. Look out at Lambert. Yes, the clouds are low. It's murky. There's still some drizzle. We'll see the drizzle fade away in the next couple of 3 hours. Visibilities will start to improve a little bit, and the low clouds, they may try to break before daybreak, but it may take us until lunchtime tomorrow before we see some sunshine. More systems are lining up to impact us over the next few days. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, Mike.
Tonight, a St. Louis man sits in jail charged with child sex trafficking involving 2 teens who were reported missing. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend tells us how police found the girls and tracked down the suspect.
This is a mugshot of Kieran Williams. Prosecutors charged Williams with 2 counts of sexual trafficking, 2 counts of statutory rape, and 1 count of endangering the welfare of a child. Court documents state on Monday, Ferguson detectives were able to access one of the runaway teenage girl's cell phone and cracked the case. According to a probable cause statement, police found the 2 girls and arrested Williams here at a home on Pershing Avenue just north of Forest Park. The girls told officers Williams encouraged them to run away and pay them for sex.
That is not surprising, unfortunately. It happens every day here in the city and also in the county.
Katie Rhodes is the founder and president of Healing Action Network. For the past 10 years, the St. Louis agency has provided safety, healing, and recovery to adult survivors of human trafficking and exploitation. They also partner with another organization that serves children.
It's been really hard to collect data, so they're not always the most accurate. We do know that Missouri is number 8 when it comes to reporting human trafficking.
A recent study found in 2024 there were 243 human trafficking victims reported in Missouri. The victims were children and adults. 134 of those cases reported in St. Louis.
I think it's underreported.
Rhodes thinks having strong family support is one of the best ways to prevent human trafficking, particularly when the victims are children.
Having at least one safe adult for kids to be able to talk to honestly and openly without fear.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
The suspect in this case, Kieran Williams, is being held without bond tonight in the St. Louis County Jail. Tonight, a man is behind bars on kidnapping charges, accused of barricading himself in a room with a student at a Mizzou sorority house. Columbia police arrested 41-year-old Jeffrey Wieland. According to NBC affiliate KOMU, he walked into the Sigma Kappa house around 7 last night, grabbed knives from the kitchen, and then police found Wieland and the student in the basement. No one was physically hurt. Tonight, the war between the St. Louis County Council, the county executive, and county department heads heats up. A lawsuit has now been filed over a bill on the April ballot giving the council more power. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski has been digging into the documents tonight. Laura?
Mike, with only 5 days before the election board has to finalize the ballot, department heads are suing over the removal power measure, calling the move an overreach.
Late last month, the St. Louis County Council approved a bill that would put this question, also known as Proposition B, on the April ballot. It asks the voters if they want to give powers to the council to remove the county councilor or any department directors with 5 of 7 council member votes. Council Vice Chair Dennis Hancock says this all comes down to a lack of cooperation from department heads.
Sometimes it's difficult to get them to even show up for a meeting like we had yesterday. So I think that we just want to send a clear message that the council has a role to play in this as well. And it's up to the voters to decide if that's a role they want us to play.
Tuesday night, County Executive Sam Page sent a letter to the council vetoing the bill to put this in front of the voters.
The charter is very clear that he can't do that. For a bill that's going to the vote directly to the voters, he can't veto it. And so it's an interesting approach that he's taking.
On Wednesday, 6 county department directors filed a lawsuit against the council and the Board of Elections, calling the ballot language misleading, inaccurate, and argumentative, to name a few. They said in a joint statement, quote, "We filed this suit to let the public know that government services are in jeopardy in St. Louis County and that this is not how government at any level anywhere in America works." The St. Louis County Board of Elections says the council doesn't need the approval of the county executive for this kind of proposition to go on the ballot, and it's already been certified.
Anything like a candidate, if they file, the only way they come off is if a court orders them off. So the same thing with this resolution, this ordinance, it's on the ballot, and if the judge determines that it should come off, it will.
Page said in his veto letter it would cost the county $600,000 to put this measure on the ballot, but the Board of Elections says that's the county's entire cost for a municipal election.
The total cost for an April election is about $1.2 million, give or take some money. So the county share would be $550,000 to $600,000.
Now, if the courts don't decide before the Tuesday deadline, but do end up pulling it from the ballot, voters will still see it on their ballot. It just won't be counted. You can read the full statements and lawsuit at KSDK.com.
Tonight, the alleged mastermind in the murder-for-hire scheme of a Collinsville woman remains behind bars just hours after shocking new evidence was shared in court. A judge denied Sammy Schaefer Jr. a release from jail during a detention hearing today. Prosecutors claim witnesses said they heard Schaefer make specific threats of violence towards his estranged wife and her girlfriend, Portia Rowland. Schaefer is accused of hiring Marty Shaw and Gary Johnson to murder Rowland. A 17-year-old is being charged as an adult for the murder of another Belleville teen. Police arrested Joseph Flagg of East St. Louis. He's accused of shooting and killing 16-year-old Derico Washington outside his home. Investigators believe it was over drugs and guns. The victim's mother is heartbroken for all involved.
All I can say is I just pray for the mothers of the people who murdered my son. It's unfair. It's tragic. It's stupid. It's senseless. And it needs to stop.
Prosecutors are deciding whether to file charges against 2 adults also arrested in the case. A man critically wounded, left alone by officers. Those officers who could have called for help instead drove away. Tonight, newly released body camera footage shows the moments officers found the man alive before their conversation, before leaving the scene, and the critical minutes that followed. We want to warn you, the details in this story are sensitive. New at 10, 5 on your side's Brent Solomon shows us the actions that have cost the officers their jobs and sparked a larger conversation about police accountability. Brent?
Well, the Missouri Attorney General and the state's public safety director have already taken action, revoking the officers' licenses. The 2 will never be able to be a police officer in Missouri. Now, 2 years after the incident, the body camera footage finds police advocates and community leaders calling for more training, greater transparency, and answers about a missing gun that they believe could change the entire case.
It's 6:15 on a Sunday evening. Police get a call. A man threatening to take his life at Forest Park. Within 7 minutes, officers Ty Warren and Austin Frazier arrive.
Damn, you're right there.
Warren is wearing a body camera. His partner, Officer Frazier, is seen here. They quickly spot Urian Rodriguez Rivera, suffering from a gunshot wound to the head.
He was breathing, it was labored. You could hear how loud he was breathing.
Officer Warren suggests they notify dispatch that they've located him.
We better take his
His partner says no.
We ain't taking this. Ain't taking 30 minutes. Let's cruise around and come back.
They get in their patrol car and leave, never requesting medical assistance. More officers arrive to search, and 10 minutes later,
have EMS respond for one subject, not conscious but breathing, barely.
a different officer finds Rodriguez Rivera.
It looks like it's on the right side of his head.
Body camera footage reveals Warren and Frazier return to the scene, pretending to stumble upon the victim, while another officer takes charge.
Breathing? Yeah, he's snoring. Agonal breathing? Yep. Yeah. We have a gun? We can't see one.
Even more officers arrive, and Rodriguez Rivera is taken to a hospital. Once there, he wouldn't survive.
They seemed pretty casual about the conversation about let's get out of here. Let's let someone else handle this.
Police consultant Tim Fitch is the former police chief for St. Louis County Police.
The officer that initially pushed back should have continued his pushback and said, well, you can leave if you want to, but I'm calling and asking for an ambulance to respond. I'm asking for crime scene work. I'm asking for the area to be roped off.
Whether it's a point of internal morale or public trust, what would you be doing right now if you were the police chief in light of this incident?
Well, what should have happened when it came to light should have gone to the public and said, this is some disturbing video that we've uncovered during an investigation. This isn't how our officers should be reacting.
A spokesperson telling 5 on Your Side the two individuals are no longer employed by the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. While we are unable to comment on specific personnel matters, SLMPD holds its officers to the highest of standards. Appropriate disciplinary action will be taken if an officer is found to have violated policies.
Where do we go from here?
Training, education, compassion. We continue to fight amongst those who do wrong, both within law enforcement as well as outside of law enforcement. But the problem with those within law enforcement, when they do wrong, they set back progress.
And now, a critical question remains. Where is the gun?
We can't find a gun. We don't see any gun. We don't see any gun in his hand, around, or anything.
Could it be that he actually shot himself somewhere else, maybe with others, and they picked him up and moved him over there so the gun didn't go with him? Is that possible? Is it possible somebody came along and took the gun after he pulled the trigger? That's possible as well.
The Missouri Attorney General's office accused the now former officers of violating 2 civil statutes: gross misconduct and committing an act of reckless disregard. The prosecutor's office advises no warrants for criminal charges have been filed.
This action is deplorable. I'm speechless. That one interaction causes a lifetime of damage.
When his former supervisors questioned him, former Officer Warren admitted to making a, quote, dumb decision and succumbing to peer pressure from his partner. The director of the state's Department of Public Safety described both officers' actions as, quote, callous and brazen disregard for human life. Both were relatively new to law enforcement, having graduated from the police academy in May of 2020.
A series of disturbances will continue to bring rain to start the weekend, and then even some snow chances going into next week. The timeline and impacts in 5 minutes.
A chief's close call.
As police officers, we don't know what we're going to encounter that day.
The routine patrol that had him just inches from tragedy. A hometown brew dropping a distinction. The patriotic push by the head of the King of Beers. Tonight, the NCAA says it will now follow standards for transgender athletes outlined in President Donald Trump's new executive order. The governing body of major collegiate sports says the No Men in Women's Sports executive order provides a clear national standard. The Illinois State High School Association says it will follow state law, which allows participation by students consistent with their gender identity. Missouri already prohibits schools from allowing student athletes to compete in sports that don't align with their biological sex.
I heard the shot. I immediately pulled over and tried to duck for cover.
Tonight, the Pagedale police chief is recounting a scary moment while out on patrol. A bullet came through the rear passenger window of Chief Anthony Huckleberry's squad car, missing him by inches. Despite the obvious damage to the car, he does see a silver lining.
It's just a coincidence that this happened to my car. I'm more than grateful that it happened to myself, opposed to another citizen or any other person that was walking down the street.
Still unclear if it was a stray bullet or if Chief Huckleberry was targeted. The St. Louis County Real Crime Center is reviewing cameras in the area. Anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. Tonight, the new owner of the largest building in Missouri is sharing his $350 million redevelopment plan for the vacant AT&T Tower. Charles Goldman of the Boston-based Goldman Group wants to convert the empty 44-story office building into 600 apartments, new retail, restaurant, and entertainment space, and an automated parking system. He shared those plans in Jefferson City today during a Senate hearing on a bill that would provide up to 30% tax credits for redeveloping empty office buildings. Ditch domestic. That's the message tonight from the head of Anheuser-Busch. In a letter to distributors and partners, CEO Brendan Whitworth says he wants them to use the word American instead. He adds domestic is used too often where beer is sold and gives a negative and less patriotic feel. Some Budweiser labels already use the phrase Great American Lager and brewed and bottled in the USA. Check this out. A wild and dangerous morning commute in Kansas City. Freezing rain turned highways into a slip and slide, leading to dozens of crashes and spinouts. Some highways were shut down for several hours. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the weather impact forecast. Nothing like that here, but we do have a lot of fog out there, Scott.
It is a bit murky out there tonight. The visibilities are starting to improve a little bit. The drizzle's starting to let up. The cameras are up high, so they're almost at the base of the clouds, but that's looking out into St. Charles right now, back towards St. Peter's. Here's the Chesterfield Valley. Again, driving along, yes, it's murky. Yes, there's still some drizzle, but the showers have moved off to the south and east of St. Louis. Our weather impact Doppler radar just showing a smattering of showers here off to the south and southeast, and they're moving northeastbound, so they are going to be out of the picture probably in about 2 to 3 hours from now, and then we'll start our drying process and switch the winds around to be able to scour out some of these low clouds and the fog. It's 41 degrees right now. Feels like 36 with that breeze out of the south-southeast at 7. That'll be swinging around to the west here in a little bit. We are at the high temperature for the day. 41 is the warmest we've been all day long. We'll probably get our high right at midnight. We were 32 this morning. We narrowly missed having the Kansas City situation play out here this morning. We were very fortunate, and we were planning on it doing exactly what it did. Tomorrow, slow clearing. Not going to say there'll be a lot of sunshine, but from northwest to southeast, we do get some clearing in here during the course of the day tomorrow. So at least some sunshine. Well, we do have some rain showers Saturday, and then there's snow possible next week. The impacts are mainly to travel at this point. The rain showers Friday night into Saturday, wet roads. But snow later Monday night into early Tuesday, that may be a plowable snow, and of course, it brings the impacts to travel with it. So let's focus on Friday night first. Kind of see here Friday night going into your weekend. The evening hours Friday are fine, but by Saturday morning, the scattered showers have spread across most of the area. Our temperatures should actually do kind of like what they did this morning, start rising through the overnight hours, and we think we're staying above freezing, yielding all rain for this as it slides out of the area late Saturday. But Saturday is going to be rather damp. Then we go into Monday night and Tuesday. It looks like we have a system coming by to our south that spreads snow in here. It's cold enough for it to be snow. So that looks like that's the main impact here for us. heaviest most likely to the south of St. Louis. But how much? It's too early to speculate on that, but we do see a high probability of having at least measurable snow Monday night into Tuesday. The good thing is it won't be like the beginning of January. Look at your temperatures here. They are around a little bit above freezing during the day and just below freezing at night. So we're not planning on whatever falls next week hanging around for the rest of the month of February like the last snow did. It's a little bit different, and because it's warmer and the ground's warmer, it also means the travel impacts to some degree will be mitigated. We'll keep tabs on that for you.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mizzou went to Tennessee and Illinois went to Rutgers. Did any of it work out? And we have the story of a local guy who just happens to be one of the best NFL referees of his generation. Stick around, please.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Onder Law Injury Attorneys.
If you are the kind of person that is upset at Mizzou for barely losing to a 4th-ranked Tennessee on the road, then you're probably the same kind of person who's disappointed with your kid's report card when it's all A's with just 1 B. Just appreciate the effort. I bet Hall of Famer Roy Williams appreciated it. Who shoots the ball from the logo? Caleb Grill does. Mizzou was rolling early second half. Tamar Bates drills a 3. The Tigers led by 11 at one time, but the Vols took a 14-point lead with about 4 minutes to go. Mizzou wouldn't go away. Bates with a step-back 3. Tigers down 5 with a minute to play. They just wouldn't quit. Jacob Cruz hit a bomb late. However, Tennessee escapes 85-81. The Illinois game at Rutgers started at 7:30. Illinois didn't show up until about 7:50. They were down 17 just 10 minutes in. But Illinois scrapped back in this one, and when Will Riley hits the tray, they were up by 3. But Dylan Harper, Ron's son, played like the lottery pick he will be. 28 points. The Scarlet Knights roll 82-73.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC opened their preseason today. Conrad Vullum will hit the crossbar with a shot, but it goes off the Real Salt Lake defender and in. The game ended in a 1-1 draw. City will play again in the Coach Ella Invitational on Saturday. A cool day on the 3rd floor of our building. Another class was enshrined into the KSDK Hall of Fame. One of them was sportscaster Ron Jacober, who had a magnificent 16-year career at KSDK before moving on to KMOX, and Jay Randolph, who spent 2 decades at Channel 5 in addition to doing football, golf, and other events for NBC. Finally tonight, with the Super Bowl coming up, we thought we would localize it a little. Richard Hantek, the pride of Roosevelt High School, knows the NFL and especially the Super Bowl.
Inside this retirement community of Friendship Village resides one of the most distinguished NFL referees in history, 86-year-old Richard Hantek.
I think it's a career to be happy with.
Hantek has a record like few others, 25 years in the league, and all 25 he did a playoff game.
Fouls were offsetting, and Delton Hall committed a personal...
And compliments? Well, how about this one from a Packer fan?
Whenever I saw your name or your crew, he said, I knew we were going to have a fair game. So
2 Super Bowls, both at the Rose Bowl, 17 the John Riggins game, and 27 when he made the famous call on the Leon Lett fumble.
It's a 60-yard run. He's being chased by BB.
Hantek had to do it on the spot while sprinting down the field.
I'd like to think I was faster than Leon.
And the call by Hantek.
The play has been ruled as a fumble in the field of play.
The weekly newspaper had a photo right down the goal line, and it showed the ball coming out of Lett's hands before he got over the goal line. So that's always a good feeling. I've been in Friendship Village almost 2 years.
When Hantek would return from these glorious games on a Sunday, he would go to work on Monday in education at either Roosevelt or Melville.
I have my occupation as a teacher, and I said, and I am a football official, I said they're diametrically opposed. I said one of them is kind of wide open and wild, and the other one has a set of rules. I said, unfortunately, the set of rules is on Sunday. I said, it's
not easy being an official. When they're right, no one remembers. When they're wrong, no one forgets.
Richard Hantek, great at officiating and pretty good at golf, too.
Are those golf balls, by the way, holes in ones?
They're all.
How many you got?
7.
You have 7 holes in ones?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're not going to play together. I can't believe it. 7. I mean, I have 6, but they're all in putt-putt.
Yeah. And that was the era before instant replay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he, by the way, says that the referees do not favor the Chiefs. So that's a popular theory.
But you disagreed with that the other
Well,
day.
I missed a couple of calls once in a while, but.
It's the big cheese of your game day spread. The millions of pounds football fans will devour in a matter of minutes. Well, tomorrow marks 1 year until the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina, Italy. It's the first Olympic Games to officially be co-hosted by multiple cities. Milan will host the ice events, while the mountains around Cortina will host skiing, snowboarding, and sliding events. And you can watch the games right here on 5 on Your Side. The big game is a big day for cheese. Between sandwiches, pizza, dips, and charcuterie boards, Americans will scarf down 29 million pounds of cheese on Super Bowl Sunday. According to the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, that's enough to send a 14-pound cheese basket to every person in Kansas City and Philadelphia. And there you have it. 5 on Your Side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. And have a great and safe tomorrow.